When it comes to the function of our gut health, the reality of the situation is Americans aren't doing enough to keep theirs in check, according to a new study published by medical doctor and value and prevention and Ipsos. It found two-thirds of adults experience a recurrence of their gut health or digestive issues, such as gas, bloating, or abdominal pain. However, few seek treatment for these issues, and the issue or problem compounds. The survey also finds that 52% of Americans are not aware of their importance of their gut health and how to address the issues when they arise. That same 52% say that they're confused with all of the wealth of information out there surrounding this issue, and they need some help on how to decipher what's true, what's factual, and what they should believe, while another 85% say that if they were given a quote-unquote gut IQ test, they would fail. So my friend, Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki is here to help. She is a visionary pharmacist with a passion for health and wellness. She's got a Doctor of Pharmacy degree and a board certification in the field of functional medicine. From the Institute of Functional Medicine, Dr. Rutecki is committed to finding the underlying causes to imbalances in your body. Her approach goes beyond the surface level symptoms and offers a complex overview of the interplay between nutrition, digestion, detoxification, immune function, your hormones, and metabolism. And she joined me this week to have an in-depth discussion on everything relating and revolving in your gut health, because Dr. Rutecki says your gut health is the new wealth. So without further delay, I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Rosemary, if you're ready, I'll take a moment to welcome you to the program, and I'm super excited to talk to you all about gut health this afternoon. Great to see you, and thank you for a few minutes.
Of course.
Absolutely. Now, I know that you're committed to finding sort of the underlying causes to the imbalances in our bodies. So I'm wondering if we could start our conversation by you telling me about your work and what makes you so fabulous.
I love that idea. So, thank you for having me, Kevin, in your podcast before getting started. And then what makes the work so fabulous is that I love helping people to find the root cause of their condition so they can get better and transform their lives so they can do what they love.
Yeah, so just before we get into the granular part of today's discussion, I'm curious to ask you about why do you think people should value their gut health and really what they put into their body and why it's so important? What are your thoughts there?
It's so important that we value our bodies, right? Because our body is our temple, okay? Our soul choose this body to live in, and what we eat and what we put inside of us, it's going to reflect the way that we feel. So making good choices on the foods that we're eating more fiber food, eating good amounts of protein, eating healthy fats, all those macronutrients, they give signals to our body, right? We eat it, we digest it, our microbiome absorb all those nutrients. And then after they ferment all the food, the microbiome gets all that and into our digestive system and it goes to our cells, right? So it nourishes our body. So what we eat will help us feel good. So if you're feeling low in energy or tired or fatigue or you can't sleep good or you're bloated, then you have to rethink if the foods that you're eating might be hurting you.
Yeah, and I know that your approach to healthcare goes beyond just treating surface symptoms that you just finished describing it. Instead, of course, you look at the sort of the complex interplay of the factors that contribute to our gut health, such as nutrition and digestion. So I'm wondering if we can have a wholesome discussion about sort of the granular part of the work that you do, because I know it's all about nutrition, digestion, and sort of your immune system and function as well. So I'm wondering if you can go into that for me today.
Yes. So our immune system, 80% of our immune system is in our gut microbiome, Kevin. So you imagine how important it is to eat for our gut microbiome, because if our immune system is strong, guess what? We're going to prevent being sick. We're going to prevent chronic diseases. We can prevent autoimmune conditions. We can prevent cancer, right? Because a strong immune system will protect us and will defend us. So working on eating foods for our gut microbiome, checking how is our gut microbiome, even if you're not having symptoms and you want to be proactive with a stool test, see what's happening in your gut, eating for your gut, tons of fermented foods, a lot of fiber, resting, relaxing, even spending time with the people that you brings you joy will also improve your gut microbiome.
Yeah, and Doctor, tell me, it's also important to be vigilant as to what we put into our bodies as we get older, because as you know, our metabolism slows down the older we get. So tell me about managing our metabolism and the importance of what goes into our body, because I know you guide your clients to really understand what they're putting in their bodies, right?
Yes. So it's not that our metabolism is going to slow down, it's that our systems might not be working properly. So let's say the gut microbiome might not be working properly because it's hungry. We're not feeding it with the foods that it needs. So it slows down, right? The same thing with our thyroid. Our thyroid might need help. Some people are hypothyroid, or they have something that is called Hashimoto's. That's an autoimmune attack to your body attacking your thyroid. And that slows down, of course, the way you're going to utilize food. You might start gaining weight. You might feel very tired. So it's not that the metabolism, like the whole thing slows down. It's the systems are not working the way you're supposed to. And it doesn't matter the age that you are. If you put attention into eating good, exercising, relaxing your mind, being surrounded by people that you love, all those things are going to make you feel better. And to work on your metabolism, right? Or in the systems, for the systems to work the way they're supposed to, it's important. As we talk, nutrition is the foundational work. And even if you're doing good nutrition and you still, having issues with your thyroid or with your gut, then it's important to go to a functional medicine practitioner to look more in depth for the root cause of why you are slowing down, why your thyroid's slow, why your digestion is slow, as all these systems are connected. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about the system of connection, because I know, Doctor, that you empower your clients to really think and achieve their optimal health and their peak performance. So what does it mean to you to achieve optimal health, and peak performance?
Optimal health and peak performance is feeling your best. I call it, I'm 44 right now. And when I was in my 30s, after I had my son, I got so tired and so fatigued. I was almost in feeling like I was in late perimenopause. I was like sweating at night profusely, like, hot flashes. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm 32, 34 years old. I should not be feeling this way. I should be feeling great, optimal, running with my kids, sleeping well, but I was not. I was tired that I was falling asleep, even in meetings. I couldn't drive for more than an hour because I would fall asleep driving. I didn't have energy to spend time with my kids. I was having a lot of painful periods and PMS symptoms. Excuse me. I was a disaster. So I went to the doctor, and then when you go to the doctor, excuse me, I choke with my own saliva.
Take your time, absolutely.
When I got so excited, Karen, talking to
I see
you.
that. I see that.
Yeah. And so when I went to the doctor, right, a lot of people, especially my clients, they come with the same story. You go to the doctor, it's like, hey, I'm feeling this way. And they're like, well, they check your lab work and they find that you're great, that there's nothing with you. And you get frustrated because I'm like, I am feeling really, really bad. There's something that I must do, or that someone can guide me to feel better, because I was feeling great. And all of a sudden I feel like I'm 80, right? And I'm sure that probably there was an 80-year-old out there that felt better than me. And that led me to the discovery of functional medicine. So we have the capacity of healing. We have the capacity of slow our aging. We have the capacity to feeling better, to have the energy that we used to have when we were young. Aging doesn't mean that we're going to feel like crap, right? Aging, we can age gracefully. We can age with health. We can age with vitality. We can age and sleep well. We can age and have great bowel movements. We can age and have great hormonal balance. Okay. So this thinking that we're aging and we're meant to feel bad is not true. Okay. So a lot of people might go to a doctor and say like, oh, well, you're aging. That's why you feel like so bad. But that we can feel optimal. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And doctor, I'm a huge believer in taking responsibility and ownership of your health because, doctor, I was born with cerebral palsy, so my muscles contract faster than most people, and I always challenge myself to be physically active because if I don't, I lose muscle and that sort of a thing faster than most people. So, tell me from your perspective, from a nutritional perspective, do you think people can train themselves to be disciplined eaters? And I'm also curious to get your thoughts on the whole concept of taking ownership and responsibility over the quality of your own health. What are your thoughts there?
100%, Kevin. And you're such a great example of discipline. And I am so proud of you how you're carrying this interview and doing all this and getting prepared. Nothing in reality is stopping you, right?
No, it's all about personal and internal motivation, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's the same. It's the same when we want something in life. It doesn't matter what goal it is. A lot of people are very goal oriented and they're very successful in their careers. They're very successful in their marriage. They're great parents. So in everybody is successful at something in life, right? And I tell my clients, like, use that same energy that you're using to run your business, use that same energy that you use as being a parent, use that same energy as being a leader in your community or in your neighborhood, and transfer that to yourself. Okay. Because the problem is that a lot of people, they don't love themselves, or they think that it's selfish to take care of themselves, that they should be caring to others. And I learned my lesson. I come from a Latin culture and Latin women in general. And I saw that with my mom and my grandma. They take care of so many people and their health got very, very poor, they neglect themselves because they put others before them. And then what happened is that I saw them stopping their passions of helping others because their health would not let them continue their passion. Okay. So when we make ourselves a priority, then we're going to be pouring from a full glass instead of an empty glass. And we're going to be able to give more to others if we have energy and if we have health. So investing in rewiring our brain to saying, I am deserving of health. I can commit to myself so I can help others is the way to go.
Yeah, and Doctor, to that point, I'm curious if you can provide sort of a nutritional game plan for success, because a lot of people uh, are, for a lack of a better term, sort of lax on what they put into their bodies, and oftentimes our bodies have a tendency to become human garbage cans where we put things in our bodies without um, sort of considering the consequences of what goes into our body. In some respects, has to come out eventually. So I'm curious if you had to create a nutritional game plan for optimal success. How do you think you would structure that plan?
Yes, that's a great question. So there's a lot of information out there in terms of nutrition, and I see that people get very confused. I was very confused too. I didn't know before I would eat anything, and I didn't understood the concept of eating enough protein because we need amino acids to create muscles, to strengthen our bones, to make tryptophan, to make melatonin so we can sleep, to carry hemoglobin, to protect the gut lining. We need amino acids for all that and for many more stuff, right? We can keep going. The list is endless of all the things that amino acids do for you. And we need that through protein. The carbohydrates that have a lot of fiber feed our gut microbiome. And if we want to grow our gut microbiome, so it protects our immune system. And also another thing that I forgot to mention is like 80%, around 60 to 80% of neurotransmitters are also made in the gut microbiome. So it helps you feel better. So if you're depressed and you're sad, could be coming because your gut microbiome is hungry. You're not feeding enough fiber, enough fermented foods. And what is fiber? Now, a lot of people think about a powder, but actually it's fruits and veggies. For example, pears, raspberries, butternut squash, spaghetti squash, avocados. They have so much fiber, and we should strive for 25 grams of fiber per day. We want to have a healthy gut microbiome and healthy fats. And then we think about avocados, olive oil, coconut, all those things that are very healthy. And I tell people, and this is something that I was telling my kids the other day, if you're eating something and it doesn't have fiber, right? If it's a carbohydrate and has zero fiber, then I'll tell you, think about it and choose one that has fiber, right? So you eat carbohydrates that have fiber. So a lot of people eat things that are preserved, that come on packages. Okay. A lot of pizza, a lot of donuts, a lot of fried things, and they lack fiber unless that you make something homemade with good ingredients and then you add, fiber to it. That's another story. But processed foods in general have very poor nutritional value, tons of preservatives. And if you eat that, you're not feeding your gut microbiome. Then your gut microbiome is going to be hungry and sad. Okay. And we don't want a sad gut microbiome because then that's the way we're going to feel. So fruits and veggies, good fats, and a balanced diet. There's a lot of noise right now with vegans and carnivores and don't eat vegetables, don't eat fruit or don't eat meat, and right. And then people get confused. The balance is on eating a balanced diet that includes different sources of protein, different sources of healthy carbohydrates, and different sources of healthy fats.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good reminder, Doctor. Thank you for reminding us of that. And I know one of your sort of taglines or missions in life is to let your clients know that their gut health is their new wealth in life. So, from your perspective, what does that mean to you, doctor?
Yes. So your gut health is the new wealth. And that is because there's so much studies that are coming every day about the connection with your gut microbiome and so many diseases, right? From your immune system, we talk about it, from the way that you feel, from cardiovascular disease, from autoimmune conditions. All those things are connected to your gut absorption of nutrients, putting all those nutrients into your cells. So if your gut microbiome is not healthy, you're not wealthy because you're going to be sick. And it doesn't matter the amount of money that you have in the world. And if you're not healthy to enjoy it, there's not going to be any money that can fix it. That's why being preventative, prevention, taking care of yourself early on before disease comes is the key. And sometimes people miss the boat and they wait until it's too late to take action. So if you have good health right now, take care of it, and you will notice that it will pay you back with energy, right? And if you don't have good health right now, you can start working right now.
Yeah, and from a holistic perspective, doctor, I'm just curious to get your thoughts on how managing our health is interconnected to every aspect of our life. Because, as you said, as you can have as much money in the bank as you want, or you can be professionally fulfilled, but if you're not personally putting yourself first, I always tell people that we make time in life for the things that we prioritize. And prioritizing our health is interconnected to every aspect of our life, isn't it?
100%. As we have been talking, health is wealth. Health is connected to every aspect of our life. If we're healthy, our brain is healthy. So we're going to want to do things that we enjoy in life. When we're sick, that's what's going to come out from us. And then you see the state of our world and our communities and the things that are happening, wars and people being hurtful to each other or killing each other. They're not in a good state of health. Right? Because when you are in a good state of health, that's what's going to come out of you. It's going to come goodness, joy is going to come out of you, wanting to provide for your community, wanting to be a good member of the society when you're healthy. When you're not healthy, guess what? That's what's going to come. So as a country, our resources should go to improving the health of our society, of the people. Good, healthy people are going to make a better world.
And it allows us to be more productive, doesn't it?
100%. Because when I felt really tired, very fatigued, I could barely do stuff. I could barely even cook. I remember have to hire someone to come and cook because I was so exhausted that I couldn't do that. I got into that place to take care of myself. And it was a lesson that I had to put myself first. And even if I was a mom, was working, my children, if I wanted to take care of everyone, I needed to put myself first. And that was a very good, wake up call for me. And for a lot of people that I work with, I remind them, you have to come first so you can serve others better.
Yeah, absolutely. And doctor, I wonder if you can provide a distinction between functional medicine and conventional medicine and the difference between the two.
That's a great question, Kevin. I get a lot of questions. What is functional medicine? I never heard of it. So functional medicine looks for the root cause of the disease, right? And conventional medicine treats what you have, right? They diagnose you and they give you a medication. And a medication, most of the time, is a Band-Aid that is covering the symptoms so you can be a little bit more functional. In functional medicine, we don't cover symptoms. We look for what is causing that on the first place. Okay. And when you find the root cause, then you fix it and then you return the body into the balance that it was at the beginning. Okay. And maybe even better. Okay. So you were lacking, if you're having hormonal issues, why you're having some hormonal issues? Is that coming from the environment? Are you surrounded by a lot of toxins? Do you have deficiencies in your hormones? Do you need some bioidentical hormones? Are you having gut issues? And that's the cause of your hormone imbalance. You need support in your liver. Okay. So when I was having my issues, the doctor told, oh, I can give you an oral contraceptive so we can manage better your PMS and your painful periods and your night sweats. And I'm like, well, I really don't want to do that because I know all the side effects that come with oral contraceptive. I was looking maybe for something different to help balance my hormones and feel better. And then in the process, I learned that it was coming from my gut microbiome, from accumulated toxins in my body, other viruses that I had. And that research and looking into the root cause and fixing that gave me my health back.
Yeah, absolutely. And doctor, I'm wondering if you can explain sort of the connection between our gut and brain and how they're sort of interconnected and woven together. What are your thoughts there?
That's such a great question, Kevin. I love the gut brain connection, and that's the biggest one. There's so much research telling us about how our gut is connected to our brain, and we have actually more nerves coming from the gut to the brain than from the brain to the gut. So that's how much our gut influence our brain health. So we make a lot of neurotransmitters. I mentioned that earlier. About 60 to 80% are made in our gut: serotonin, norepinephrine, dopamine. And if we're feeling sad, it could be coming from the gut microbiome. That reminds me of a client that I was working with, a young man in his 30s. He was gaining a lot of weight and not feeling himself. And he was also having some depression, anxiety, panic attacks, to the point that he couldn't even have a conversation with me. And we started working on, of course, we tested him first. We did a couple of functional testing. And then we found that he needed work on his gut microbiome. He needed work on his cell membranes, the mitochondria. He needed help on detoxification. And we work on a plan. Okay. But most of the work was in the gut. Okay. He was needing more of the good flora in his gut. So we started working on rebuilding that. And then a month later, he was already feeling better. 3 months later down the road, he was all gone. So if he would have gone to a regular doctor, he would probably be prescribed antidepressants, anxiolytics, and other medications to combat his anxiety, his depression, and his panic attacks. And that's the power of working on the gut microbiome. Another thing that can happen in people is something that's called leaky gut. And there's a lot of research with that too. Leaky gut is when the gut lining is more permeable, okay, than that it is. So usually it's permeable, so nutrients can pass through the blood circulation, and then we absorb the nutrients. But when it's more permeable, then things like bacteria and food particles are going to have access to your blood. And then the body is going to attack that. That's a start of an autoimmune response, an autoimmune attack, your body attacking itself. And that creates a lot of inflammation, that creates inflammation in the brain. Okay. So having leaky gut issues can also create inflammation in the brain. So it's kind of like a circle, right? If your brain is not doing good, your gut is not doing good, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. And doctor, the last sort of issue that I want to tackle with you before I ask you a couple of personal life questions is the connection between our sleep quality and our gut health. Because if you're not getting enough sleep, obviously, then you're not coming to whatever it is that you're passionate about with your full self. But it also affects our gut health if we don't get the appropriate amount of sleep, doesn't it?
100% sleep. It's one of the most important things that we can do to have health. Okay. Investing in having a room environment like your mattress, your sheets, the temperature, all of that is very important. Dark windows, or putting dark curtains so that room is dark and great temperature is the first step to achieve good sleep. And let's say that you don't have that, you have that and you're still not sleeping, then you can add some supplements like magnesium glycinate, do some meditation, lavender oil, essential oils, sound bath, Music is really good too to help you calm and relax before bed. When we sleep, our brain cleans itself, right? We have something that is called the lymphatic system, and that happens when we're sleeping. Okay, the brain detoxifies all the toxins when we're sleeping. If we don't sleep, that process doesn't happen. So we accumulate all those things that were supposed to be eliminated, all the toxins, all the proteins, and all that stays there, and then can cause issues like brain fog, fatigue, depression, anxiety, dementia, all those stuff if we lack of our sleep. So investing in the sleep is really good. And the food that we eat also makes a big impact in the way that we sleep. If we're eating very late at night, so we eat and then go to bed, then we're interrupting the sleep cycle by digesting food when we're sleeping instead of regenerating and cleaning the brain and all that when we're sleeping, because it takes about 3 hours to digest food. So if we eat and go to bed, then instead of having 8 hours of repair, we're having 5, for example. Okay. So those tips are important to help people with in terms of the gut, the food that you're eating, the time that you're eating, and also disconnecting from electronics before you go to bed, at least an hour or two, so your body is ready to sleep. And also working on the circadian rhythm, but that's another big topic that we can touch in another day.
Yeah, absolutely. And, Doctor, I've got two questions for you, left for
Yes.
you. And the first is a two-parter, doctor. So, as a mom, doctor, I'm curious to ask you about the importance of vigilance as what we put into our kids' bodies today. Because, as you know, kids are marketed up to up to a certain degree that sometimes when it comes to our health and our food consumption isn't always the greatest. So tell me about why it's important to uh, view or be vigilant on what we give our kids to eat. And the second part of that question, as you mentioned at the beginning or outset of our conversation, you come from a minority group, and I come from a minority group as well, having a disability. So when you look at sort of what we give our kids to eat, and then the health disparities that come from being black, for example, or being a Latin in your case, what do you think it's going to take to continue the conversation of progress in those two areas? So I'll give you the floor to answer those two questions in any direction that you would like.
Yes, yeah, that's a combo question. So, as a mom, what do I do with my kids to keep them healthy? So, I teach them. Why we're eating the way we're supposed to, why we are feeding our gut microbiome, and they notice. Right? It's not that we like to compare, because it's not good to compare to others, but I tell them just pay attention. Pay attention to your health and pay attention to the health of the kids that you're surrounded with. There, a lot of them are having a lot of anxiety, pressure in medications, or they are having issues with their weight, or they can't move as fast, right? And and then see what they're eating, notice what they're eating, and they already understand because they're 14 and 11, so they know now very clearly that what you eat, it's what makes your body, is the foundation of your body. So teaching your kids early on. So I taught my kids early on it the way to eat, and they never felt deprived. So if they will go to birthday parties, I will bring my own homemade stuff. If they were serving pizza, I will get creative and make like a order like a pizza that they could eat, or bring something fun for them. If they were serving cake, then I will bring something healthy for them. So I will make, it was a sacrifice because I had like a lot of planning and a lot of things and make it fun for them. But as long as they had the same things or similar things as everybody else, they never felt neglected or that they were, out of, part of the group. And now that they are older, They're so used to carry their food with them all the time. Or if we're out, they know what are the best food choices for them because they feel it. If they eat something that is not good, they're not gonna feel good. So they know. So empowering our kids is the number one thing, and empowering each other with the information, because now with technology, everybody has a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're a minority, you have a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
All the information is here, right? A lot of people have cell phones, and information is here. So we can access before, maybe years ago, 20 years ago, it was more difficult to access information, but now we can access information. And then talking about accessing of food, yes, I agree that in some areas there's desert. They're called desert areas,
Mm-hmm.
especially for minority groups. They don't have good, healthy grocery stores where they can find fruits and vegetables. And sometimes the only things that they have is a 7-Eleven, and everything is canned and processed. So that needs to be fixed. We need to fix that as a society and provide more healthy options and teaching people why we're supposed to eat in a certain way. Because when I was growing up, I never learned these things. These are things that I learned by myself, by reading, by researching, and getting educated. So imagine if we add nutrition courses in every public school of the United States or even the world to teach kids what are healthy foods, talking about all the food groups, their fiber content, their nutritional content, and teaching people to make options, big choices, because it's not that we're going to label food as bad, but if you're going to have something that doesn't have nutritional value, maybe it's just a little bit of it, and then more of the things that have nutritional value. That should be the conversations that we should be having. We should be offering more food choices for people. And since now we have more cell phones, and even kids have cell phones, from teaching people how to look for the information.
Yeah, absolutely. And Doctor, my final question has to do with legacy. And when you look at your own personal and professional legacy, how do you want that to be defined?
Oh, that's such a beautiful question. Thank you so much. I want my legacy to be one of encouraging people to be their best and put their health as their number one priority. Because when you put your health as the number one priority, and you're going to serve the world better, you're going to be a better parent, you're going to be a better partner, spouse, you're going to be a better boss, a better employee, a better worker. You're going to be better as a human being when you are healthy. So I want to be remembered as someone that always inspire others to take care of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Vano, tell me, if people want to get connected with you, what's the best way they can do that?
The best way that they can do that, they can go to my website, Dr. Rosemarie Rutecki.com. They can find me on social media at Dr. Rosemarie_Rutecki. That's my handle for Instagram, and Rosemarie Rutecki in LinkedIn. And I'm going to give you also the links so you can add them in the show notes. And I also have a course that I made very affordable, $97. And it's a foundational to learn how to take care of your gut microbiome, especially if you're having some issues like bloating, constipation, diarrhea, or just you want to reboot your gut to have better health. So it's my mission to make functional medicine more affordable. So I'm going to give you a link for that. And for your listeners, they're going to get a coupon code to get $10 off the course.
Fabulous. Well, Doctor, I can't thank you enough for engaging in conversation with me about functional medicine, gut health, and everything in between. Your work in the space and time on my behalf is most appreciated, Doctor. And I have to tell you, you're really making positive inroads in the space of functional medicine and helping people lead healthier lives. So I want to thank you for your time this afternoon and for engaging in conversation. It's most appreciated.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for having me. I had a great time with you today.